Good evenings and salutations in our distance. It is Wolfphototech, and here we are with another little delightful video. This time I'm covering this teeny tiny little deck called Pathfinder 2nd Edition Critical Hits Deck. It's 54 cards. Nice quickie. Retails for $12.99. Now, if some people are going to say, whoa, that feels like it's like a lot of money, like $12.99. Well, we have to keep in mind that Paizo or Paizo likes to keep their all the rules for their gaming system, their core rules, and pretty much all the secondary stuff, pretty much free on the internet. You can go to the archives in Nethys or use Path Builder or a whole bunch of stuff. There's only a few things that you do not have access to for free over the internet for Paizo games. Such as Starfinder, Pathfinder 1st Edition, Pathfinder 2nd Edition, so forth. And so they have to make all their money off of fun stuff like these decks, or if you buy a book, which is not even required. You don't even have to buy a book to play Pathfinder 2nd Edition. You have all the options. You just go online to Archives and Nethys and filter through all the classes and ancestors and everything and feats, and boom, you can make up sheet up yourself and or pull a free one off the internet, and you can just play Pathfinder 100% free, no money at all, entirely. So for $12.99 for a system that is basically entirely free, unless you want to like get specific adventure paths and fun goofy stuff like this, yeah. So let's go over this. This is the introduction card and the rules. It explains how these cards work. This deck is in an expansion deck. This is not required to play Pathfinder 2nd Edition. However, this can put a little jazz in your game if you really want it to. So here you go. When you are playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition, you happen to, by the way, you always get like a card or some kind of sheet or a part of the deck that will have the OGL, the Open Game License, on it, because it's built off of the Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 system with a blend of other 4th edition and original mechanics blended into Pathfinder 2nd Edition. But anyways, when you're playing with this deck, you shuffle up this deck, you set it down on the table, and when a player gets a critical hit, specifically a player, not the monsters. However, if you want to be a pretty cruel GM, you can have the monsters draw a card from deck. But anyways, when a character gets a critical hit, they can draw a card off the top of the. They can draw cards off the top of the deck, and then they can use an effect that is associated on the card to the type of damage they deal with. Such as this one is, for bludgeoning damage, you got clocked. For piercing, you got headshot. From slashing, you got from chops to groin. And from bomb and spell option is doomed. So what clocked would be is triple damage, target is knocked prone. For piercing, headshot, triple damage, crit effect, target must succeed on a fortitude save or die. So you basically, with one of these cards, if you get yourself a critical, you can insta-kill a target with a crit effect. Chops to groin, triple damage, crit effect, target must succeed at a fortitude save or die. For the bomb or spell effect, the target is slowed one for 1 round and is also doomed 1. Ooh. So these are kind of all neat. Each card has a slightly different variety, but it always typically has a bludgeoning, a piercing, and a slashing, and a bomb or spell effect. The effects are here, the types of damage. So if you cast a spell, and you happen to get a critical on it, boom, that effect kicks in. If you're using bludgeoning, this one kicks in, which is this one up here. So it's cracked rib. Target is fatigued. So you give your target a fatigued status. This is another card. Same pattern. You got bludgeoning on top, piercing, slashing, and bomb or spell. And then you have the name of it, and then you have the effect in the green. So these are actually kind of really neat. And of course, to balance this out, you would naturally have the Critical Fumble deck that pops in. So if you're going to use one of these decks, you might want to balance it by having the Critical Fumble deck. However, some players are just like, I just want the Critical Hit deck, not the Critical Fumble deck. Which in case, depending on your play group, you know, if you're a beer and pretzels, hang out, have fun, nothing serious kind of group, you just throw in the critical deck like every so often, like roll a die at the beginning. You're like, oh yeah, if I roll greater than a 10 on a d20, we are playing with the critical deck today. Or special addendum rule. This is my little homebrew thing. I roll a d20 at the beginning of session, if we have 15 or greater on it, the Critical Hit deck is in play. If we have between 5 and 10, we're not playing with the decks. And if we have less than 5, we're playing with just the Critical Fumble deck. And see what kind of changes to gameplay people are going to go through just to avoid the Critical Fumble deck. They got a Critical Fumble only day. So that's just a fun little idea. There's also on this card as well as on the rules deadly variant and special rules attached to the back. So you can even upgrade or modify this variant rule mechanic even more. So as I say, it's a really cool idea. All these cards have radically different effects, and they have multiple effects attached to them. So it's not the same thing repeated over and over and over again. Like for this card, we have Lean into the Blow. Triple damage, you drop your weapon. Which is interesting. This is a critical hit card. And you do triple damage, but you end up dropping your weapon. So that's interesting. And then there's also normal damage. Crit effect. Until healed, the target is clumsy 3 and enfeebled 3. That's just on piercing. And then you have a normal for bludgeoning. Ruptured spleen, normal damage, crit effect. The target takes 1 persistent bleed damage that can't be removed until target has been subject to magical healing. So, and the same thing on that card, on that very same card. Funny Bone, the target laughs uncontrollably until end of next turn. While laughing, it is slowed 1 and can't use reactions, which is the bomb or spell effect. So you can get really crazy combinations like enemies just laughing hysterically because they got hit by a ray or something. Okay. Or you chucked a bomb and exploded into a ball of fire, but they start laughing. How interesting. Magical science is a weird mistress. So I definitely say that if you have gotten the core rules for Pathfinder 2nd Edition already, or you are just going free route off online, if you want to buy something a little extra different, if you've been playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition for a long time, and you want to really jazz up and have some really crazy stuff happening, these cards are great. I would definitely give these a 4-star. The price is actually quite reasonable considering that Paizo allows everyone to just copy the rules 100% free off the internet. So there you go. There's more of these types of decks. There is the Critical Fumble deck, which I will show off in a future video. The Chase rules deck, and the hero points deck, which is also quite interesting because when you activate your hero points, you can also draw one of those cards and have a special effect occur. The chase cards actually are really interesting to check out. I'll see that in a future video. So try to keep this video short for the people who enjoy them short. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and you are very much interested in more of this content, please like and subscribe and tell me in the comments below that you want to see more Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful week, and a magnificent month. And see you next time.